In this video, we're going to add DHCP onto the server. Open Server Manager. We're going to click on Roles, and we're going to add a role. The wizard we're going to open. Click Next, and the role we're going to add is DHCP. Click Next. Alright, introduction to DHCP and some additional information to read about DHCP. We're going to click Next. DHCP will ask us for, this is our IP address. Statically, going to click Next. The DNS settings that we created earlier, remember to sort your name and remember before DNS. This is our IP. We can also put an alternative DNS if we want to. We're going to click Next, and here wins, we're going to leave that as default, and we're going to click Next. The scope of our DHCP. Scope is actually the range of IP addresses which we're going to give out from the DHCP. So we're going to click Add. Right, scope name. So we're going to give the scope a name. Let's name it tunnel scope. Right, the starting IP address is the starting of the IP address that we want for our scope. We're using the IP address 192.168.0, and we're going to start our scope address at 192.168.1.100. Right, and the ending IP address is, so we're ending our scope. Alright, subnet mask. Our subnet mask is 255.255.255.255.0. Default gateway, we're going to leave that because it's optional, and we're going to activate the scope one time. We're going to say OK. The following during activation, scope and email address must be equal in address length. Let's double check. Alright, this is wrong. It's 253. It's 255.254.192. Make sure we have all the numbers correct. Yes. So okay, and now this is our scope we just created. We're going to click Next. Okay, here we're going to ask us if we're going to use DHCP version 6. For now, we're only going to be concentrating on DHCP version 4, so we're going to disable 6. Going to click Next. Use current credentials. Yes, we want to use the administrator for the domain name Donald. We're going to click Next. Right, a summary of what we have just did. We're using network connection. This is our IP version 4. What it's the IP address of the server. The domain name donald.com. The DNS server is 0.1. The scope name Donald. Default gateway. Subnet mask. The IP range of the scope from 1 to 1 to 253. Type. Authorization. Remember, we disable DHCP version 6. Alright, I'm going to hit install. Okay, now the installation have completed. We're gonna click close. Alright, let's minimize the server manager. Click on start. Administrative tool. Now we're seeing the DHCP. Alright, let's click on our domain, IP efficiency. Let's see the DHCP address 192.168.253. IP leased. We have non-leases yet, reservations, we have non-registration. Let's see the scope options, standard, and domain. Now let's use a Windows. Let's go to the address pool. Alright, address lease. Now let's open the Windows. Let's go to Windows 7. It's going to log into Windows 7. Alright, we're going to log into admin. Alright. At first we had this machine configured with static. We're going to change it to DHCP and see if the DHCP will handle out an IP address. Alright, let's go. Let's change the network settings. Right, change adapter settings. Right click, properties. We're using IPv version 4 properties. We had this set as a static IP of 0.4. Right, just obtain. We'll leave the DNS as is. We'll say OK. We'll say close. Still didn't take one. Let's go back and check our server, our scope. Alright, we did something wrong here. So we had a scope. I did 1.0 instead of 0.1, so that's not correct. So here we can delete the scope. Let's add a new scope to the correct one. New scope. Next, scope name, let's name it DONALD. Donald scope again. We'll leave it out in the description. Starting IP 192.168.0 this time at 100. We're ending in 192.168.0.153. See, they give us the subnet mask and everything. Okay, if we do it that way, let's say next. We don't want to add no exclusion as yet. We're going to say next. Days number release, we leave it as 8. We said next. Do you want to configure the options? So leave it as default. Next. No, I'm tired of just router. No, we don't want to say no because we don't want. We want to finish. Right, so the scope hasn't renting. We need to start our scope or activate our scope. Right, just want to right click and we're saying activate. Right, no lease, our scope is now activated to the correct scope. Let's go back. Let's do ipconfig release and ipconfig renew and see if machine will take up a DHCP. So renew. Alright. Also appears that we take up an IP 192.168.0.1. Let's check all these settings. Right. 192.0.100, the first thing that we started. Did obtain on the DA server, which is 0.1. Let's check our server, check our scope. Let's see our lease address. Right, let's refresh. Alright, let's close off. And then we're going to start back up. Adjust tools, DHCP. Alright, we're going to go back to here, IP version 5. Let's go down to scope, address pool, and address lease. Right, and now we're seeing it at least that this machine was leased, that 100. This machine, we have that 100. Alright, let's see if we're still seeing the server. Network discovery, make sure to turn on network discovery. Right, see new as a machine. Let's do a ping. Let's ping our server, and then from the server we will ping this with the same IP that was assigned. Ping 192.168. That's 0.1 as the server. Right, and let's use the name just to verify the pinging by the name too. What's the server name again? Let's check the server name. Server 2008. Alright, it's pinging, so that's the IP. Let's go to the server. CMD. Let's ping that machine, which is assigned 192.168.0.100. Yep. Let's do a NS lookup to make sure that's the correct name. This machine is Win7. Win7-PC, right? Win7-PC. We should get back the same IP address. Yes, 192.168.168. So we have successfully created or set up DHCP.